What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and we are here today. I wanted to show you guys this deck because I have the absolute ball of a time with it. I got some replays for you guys to see of this deck actually having some fun. Now, I'm trying to actually get more cards to put into it, but I also don't want to throw useless cards in it. So I'm just going to go over the deck really quickly, and it's all about Lair of Darkness. Now, this card is absolutely ignorant. It is the perfect card, and if you like ignorance, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because this card alone, with some other cards that I found, and it has its own archetype, but it will literally, it will blow your mind, I promise you. So pretty much, I'll just read this. All place-up monsters on the field become dark, and once per turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you contribute one dark monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. And then, depending on whose turn it is, at the end phase, you get a torment token, a level 3 fiend. And it goes on whoever's turn it is in defense position, and based on how many times you attribute it. So now that's all fun and good, and then it actually has its own archetype. Like, there are certain cards. Oh yeah, I could have biggie sized this. Yeah, so please, I forget sometimes. I honestly do forget that I could biggie size it so you guys can see it. You have cards like this, Arima, the Wicked Warden, who is a deck searcher for it. It can actually get you it. Also, which I've never been able to do, unfortunately, is that it also has its own fun little archetype here. Is that if you contribute one dark monster, draw one card, or if you tribute a dark monster other than this, you can add one dark monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand. These cards don't even have defense, but it's for other cards that I don't have at the moment. But like something, I'm trying to look at I don't have those other cards, but it has this own little archetype. This one's a really good one because it allows you to tribute any number of dark monsters on the field. This is almost like a single target instant kill, because you could just target their one monster and plus any darks on your side and do that as well. And then it gets attack, which I really don't care about. If this card is normal summon and special summon, though, you can target one level 5 or higher dark monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. That's actually why I have Dark Armed in there, because usually this deck actually doesn't run too many actual dark monsters, which is pretty funny. I haven't yet been able to use Lilith. Technically you should be running 3 of her, 3 of this. I would actually run more armed dragons. I actually would take out Zerato because I normally never get to use him, but he's just, he's just in the deck because I just wanted to see other things. That he's not important, but what is important is the grass that looks greener. Now, normally when you're running this card, yes, I have a prismatic. I was so happy. I would run a 60 card deck, but like I said, I'm not flooding the deck with uselessness until I get the guards that are actually good, that really work well with the archetype. Then I will actually make it a 60 card deck. But this card, obviously, if your opponent has more cards in their deck if you have more cards in your deck than your opponent does, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Now, what's awesome about that is normally it's actually put with this package, which is the Infernoid, which is I love this package, man. I never knew how Infernoid really worked, but pretty much you can banish Infernoid monsters from the hand or graveyard, so that's why it's really good. And these cards can be special from the hand or graveyard, so throwing them in the graveyard as many as possible as you can is why you're able to use half these guys' effects. Where are the rest of them? I know I have a UR version, and I was like, yeah, this is such a good archetype. But what's really important about this and the shenanigans that I like to pull is because with Lair of the Darkness on the field, you can also use this on your opponent. You contribute one monster, negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. This is for a spell or trap effect. But the other ones, all the other ones that are like not UR, you contribute one monster, then target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. So not only can I tribute their monster, then I can banish a card in their graveyard, which is absolutely stupid, and it's absolutely hilarious. It's just so funny. We also have the viruses, which is actually where the Lair of Darkness archetype comes from. It's from, I actually get related cards, right? Where is it? No, I can't. Maybe I have to go Lilith. Actually, it's a really hard, okay, I guess I can't really search it properly, but it's really hard to find it, but it's part of the crush card. All these crush cards, maybe I can go related cards, crush card. Here we go. So Grinning Grave Virus, Let me do ones that I don't own as well. So Grinning Grave Virus, Deck Devastation Virus, Eradication Epidemic Virus. And if you notice, all of them is about tributing a, not that one, tributing a dark monster, right? So if you have Lair of Darkness on the field, they're dark, so I could take a dark monster that's 1,000 or less, which funny enough, the Lair of Darkness also creates itself when you tribute monsters. So you have that, and then as you guys know, anything that has 15 or more attack in their hand and currently on the field, gone instantaneously. Same thing with the Deck Devastation, 2,000 or more. Sometimes you just use this because it's a instantaneous. Remember, the first part, as you guys may be unaware of, is that it's a cost. So it's instantaneous. As soon as I activate the card, I tribute their monster and it's just gone. They can't like negate that part of it. They're negating the rest of the part of the card. So it's just really crazy that this one is 2,000. So if they summon a big bad, I can activate this and immediately take it off. It's almost like a kaiju effect. I don't have this one, but same thing, 2,500 or more. I could select a spell or trap, and I don't have it, but you guys should understand. Not that one, not that one either. Full Force Virus, 2,000 or more. Defense, same thing. And you pretty much use their cards, and that's actually, even though people have seen Lilith with the nonsense that is the DD Dynamite, this card is actually meant for this archetype. It also has the same thing as Arima, where you have this funny little thing where, you know, reveal 3 normal traps in your deck, your opponent chooses one, and I get to set it from my field. So if Lair of Darkness is on the field, I tribute one of their monsters, reveal 3 normal traps, they pick one, and I put the set on my field. And as you also can see, these are quick effects. That's what makes it even more gross, is that you can literally use it on their turn or on my turn. Use it on, you know, it's crazy. So I'm going to show you guys a couple matches. I still, like I said, I haven't been able to use Lilith yet, unfortunately, but you guys should love this deck. I promise you, it's actually pretty dope. Alright, so this is a pretty decent hand. We got some Infernoids in the hand. We have the Deck Devastation. Like I said, they do something 2,000 or more. I got it. We Lair of Darkness. This card's actually not in the deck anymore. This is the old build of the deck. And now you'll see, and that's all. Let me just pause it. I know I'm not in the screen, but you can visibly see every time I use the Lair of Darkness, I swear to God, it always catches her. That's why I've not been able to use it. But as you can see, you've been able to do that. We do have the Lair of Darkness out on the field. And there's a lot of duels where I don't draw Lair of Darkness, and some people are probably wondering, like, what happens when you don't draw it? You pretty much lose. That's what happened. You pretty much kind of lose, and I mean, the Infernoid can carry you, especially if you get the other one. He tributes my thing. I was like, oh, how cute of that for you to do. He gives me a dark monster, and he's going through his things, and we could see he actually is using the Thunder package. But I could tribute his big monster, so I'm just sitting back here waiting for him to put out something that I deem worthy enough to give the virus to the rest of his deck. Because if you don't take this card out, then it really doesn't matter. So he's using his thing, Chaos Space. Throw a light, get a dark. That's pretty much how that card works. I've been looking to do a Chaos Space deck too because of Infernoids. I'm looking for cards that really work good with that. The grass goes greener. So I've been working towards that. It goes to Anaconda. I'm like, oh yeah, do it, buddy. Show me your strength. Dark goes in, then he gets the White Dragon. They pretty much interchangeably search for each other. Spends 2,000, gets the Thunder Dragon Fusion. Those cards go back. Boom, Thunder Dragon Colossus. I'm like, that is a pretty good one right there, buddy. I think that that's good enough. So we're gonna tribute his dragon, and it kills off his. And that one, this is the specifically one that kills the lower attack ones, right? So it killed off his Anaconda and his man. So what can he do here? Not much of anything. He does that and he scoops. Unfortunate right there. Alright, so we start off with the grass is greener in this duel, and we also start off with the field guard. I hate showcasing matches. So here I'm trying to bait out some stuff, a Maxi or an Ash with my draw cards. I don't want him to negate anything, so we go into the void. Like I said, me discarding my card at the end. Okay, this card also is not in the deck anymore. This was, to be completely honest, by the way, this is when I was trying to mix in the Dark World stuff, so I was throwing in both of them, but this card's not in the deck anymore. Lair of Darkness, then we go Allure of Darkness, Snipe El Dorado, don't care about that. Infernoid, this one is actually funny because it's actually the tuner, and if you notice, I never really went over the extra deck because you don't really use it that much, but this card, when you normal summon it, you can send an Infernoid monster from the deck to the graveyard, and if you do increase this card's level by that one's level, and it also gains its name and it gains its effect. So it's a really cool way to be able to abuse one of your Infernoids, but usually you want to throw the Infernoid in the graveyard, then use and use the Infernoid's effects in the graveyard, and then boom, you have 2 monsters out, and then that's when all these synchros kind of come into play. I do think that there might be some link monsters that I want to throw in here. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do, but there's definitely different ways to play off this card. It's really, really good. It's also, when you use Reasoning in this deck, this was one of the cards that can come out because it is actually not like the other Infernoids, which cannot be normal summoner set. So thought I'd explain that really quick. So I threw that in there for a 4, and then I assumed I could get one of these other cards out, like this 3, and then I can make a 7, but wasn't able to do so. So we just have this card here. But like I said, it does take that other card's effect, so it now has the effect that I can pop a card for free once per turn, and then I can also tribute 1 monster, banish a card in the graveyard. And you'll see here, so we're going against, actually, which is crazy. Oh, I remember this deck. This was actually funny. So we're going against Fluffle, and I don't know anything too much about Fluffle, and the Fluffle, all the weird teddy bears and stuff like that. So once he uses a fusion, I'm looking at his hand size. I'm trying to decide when to go for something. So he puts out a big monster, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And this thing's chaining. The Fluffle thing is changing. A bunch of things are chaining, but I'm like, you know what? What we're gonna do? Instantly tribute. As you can see, how the effect is. Now my effect is activated, right? So he can't do anything to respond to that. This is a quick play effect. So we instantly just tribute his thing, and then I banished his penguin. I didn't know if it was still gonna go off, but it still did. So he's able to get a lot of recovery stuff. As you can see, this is what I do like about this archetype, from what I can tell, is that they're able to put stuff in the graveyard, get things back. He activates here a Fluffle fusion, and the crazy part about this is per monster that was used in the fusion summoning, he can attack. So if he was put 4 of those bad boys together, he could have just OTK'd me right there. Also, since it was his turn that all the tributes happened, he gets the token. That's how that card works. We get this, and I'm like, oh god. But remember, Infernoids work from the graveyard, so we do this. I'm just gonna instantaneously just tribute the other token, because I can attack him and then banish a card from his. When this card attacks a monster, oh no, when it declares an attack, but when you attack, banish a card. And since I did a tribute, I get the token now. We put this face down because I'm thinking eventually I'll get 2 cards in my hand that I could use it. It's a really terrible card, don't put it in there. It's definitely for Dark World nonsense. So again, he's using his Fight for Patchwork, and he's doing the same thing. Now, again, everyone except the other big bad, the super big bad, has this effect. So he can do all he wants here. As soon as he puts a big fusion out on the field, I'm going to tribute it. That's just what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for him to put something out there that's worthy. I see Polymerization, the 2 cards left in the hand, and Fight for Daredevil. Yeah. As soon as that thing hits the field, we're just gonna tribute that right away. And I think I actually ended up banishing it immediately. Yeah. I just didn't want to deal with it or him putting it back. So as you can see, a bunch of stuff is already banished. He's gonna end his turn. He's gonna get a token for his troubles. Come on, 3,000 monster, you get 1,000 token. I mean, the math is easy here. Now here, as you know how this card works, I could actually kill it. I could go out there, sacrifice this thing, and I'll gain a 1,000 attack thing. I figured since he has no answer for the Lair, I'll use this as a trump card later on in the duel if I need it. Also, I don't have a card to utilize its second effect, a level 5 or higher monster. So we're just chilling. Again, he goes for his Fluffle plays. I'm not explaining all his cards because pretty much it's, little small guys that aren't going to do anything, and then eventually he's going to get a big thing. They're not negating anything. This card is pretty cool though, the Penguin. He's able to draw 2 cards and discard 1 when it's used as a fusion material. I think that's pretty good. And it's, as you just saw, it's not even an SRUR, so it's pretty good. Cycling his toy vendors so he can keep discarding and drawing. It's not a hard once per turn, so as long as he keeps cycling it, he's fine. Ink thing, he attacks me. I didn't understand this play. I think he was hoping. I think he was hoping that he would do something, because it says if this where is it? When this card attacks, when this card declares an attack, you can add 1 Imp Edge chain from your deck to the hand if this card is sent from the field. It doesn't need to die by battle, so I don't understand why he just didn't attack one of these. He could have just did 200 damage, but he attacks my big guy. I'm thinking, like, does he have like a honest? Does Fluffle have an honest? And then he scoops. Like, as I said, as soon as you get you get the Lair out, it's just super frustrating to play against those cards. It's so hard to get around it if you have nothing, like absolutely nothing to ping that back row. So now this is the last match that I wanted to show. This one's actually a little bit of a long one. This one we're gonna actually start off with a mirror. I wish I could use it as a regular card. It would be fantastic. So we got the Lair Darkness. We're gonna Lure of Darkness. Do, of course, little kid sniped pretty early. What could I do? We're gonna put this one out. Banishing one Infernoid, so we have the ability again to tribute his monster. We have the card Demise. I think when you use one of these other cards, I couldn't use card Demise. We have the big bad in the building, but he's, like I said, he's not really too useful. When you utilize this one's effect, I can destroy a monster on the field. Now this is interesting. This is very interesting because this would work against so many other decks, just not mine. So every time a monster, I special summon a monster, I lose 3 cards off the top of my deck. But Infernoids want that anyway, so he actually ends up like milling my deck a lot. Because look, I tributed a card, right? Oh, here we go, card defense in. I'm like, okay, those all can go to the grave. I special summon a token. No, okay. But every time I special summon a token, Soul Levy actually triggers, which is pretty funny. So he's actually going Dino, which I was like, oh snap. So he's going the Dino thing, he's removing stuff from play, putting things into play, special summoning. Now it kills this. I know kind of a little bit how the Dino works, but I'm like, I'll just wait. Again, just like the Fluffle, I'm going to wait until you do something really big. Once you overextend, that's when I'm going to blow up something. I'll wait until you do something big. Now, I saw him throw out a tuner, and then I knee-jerk reaction. Then he hits me with the double evolution pill. Banish a Dino and a non-Dino, which means that I could have did that to prevent it. And boom, there you go, Ultimate Conductor, Charano, Thingy-majig. And I'm like, oh crap. He also puts out the Link Karibo, and I'm like, he attacks. So I'm going to take a decent amount of damage here. But we all know that since there's Infernoids in the graveyard, I'm perfectly fine. And since there was tributing going on, as you can see, boom, and then even more cards get tributed. Now this is the one play I thought was weird. He called by the Graves this card. No matter which one it doesn't really matter which Infernoid he got. I think that it would have been smarter for him to wait for me to activate the card and then like do it. And I think that would have screwed me over because my next draw is another Infernoid, but still I think it would have been smarter to do that. But now I know there's no difference here. He's going to utilize his Ultimate Tyranno. Unfortunately, the Ultimate Tyranno, what is it? This one, once per turn during the main phase, you can destroy one monster in your hand or field. And if you do, change all face-up position monsters your opponent controls to face down. So this is going to go face down as 0 defense. So I do chain its effect. So again, instantly tribute it, and then I think I banish it as well. So we just, no more of that. No more Chino, we don't need none of that. And then of course I get a little token for my troubles, and then since I special summon, even more cards go to the graveyard. Actually, is this SR? No, it's RU. It's a pretty interesting card though. If you go turn 1 and then maybe mill their deck. So he's gonna go in here with the Xyz Evolved Doka. And actually, I was actually a little afraid of this card. When another monster activates its effect, you can detach material from this card and negate the activation. So I was kind of afraid of that. Again, he attacks me out. And I think he doesn't get a token for this turn. But as we said before, I draw my Crush card, which we know that's going to be really pivotal. I'm going to banish a couple cards, and then do that. We're going to lose a couple more cards, which is fantastic. As soon as I activate this effect, remember, like I said before, the tribute is the cost. So he couldn't utilize Evol's effect to actually stop it because in order to activate it, it automatically tributes a card. So he wasn't able to prevent that from happening. Banish another one of his cards, and especially summon another one, lose even more cards. This was hold on while this is doing that. I actually made a mistake here because I already used, this is the Lair Darkness actually once per turn I can use my opponent's stuff. So when I used this one's effect, I had to use one of my own monsters. That was a misplay by me. I could have been a little bit patient. And then when I banish this, it comes back as 3,000. I thought it was weird that he put it in defense mode. Didn't matter though because Link Karibo still does Link Karibo things. Maybe he just didn't want to take any extra risks. We do get tokens for our troubles. We did tribute 3 cards. As you can see, we get cards for that. Now, I am concerned about my deck at this point, so I'm trying to think of a way to pop this Soul Levy in the back. He turns into attack mode, but doesn't matter. I'm going to tribute this. Crush card, going to kill all his cards. He also decided to kill another card in his graveyard, in his deck it looked like. So he's gonna banish all those cards and then bring this the Soul Eater. Giant Rex was banished, so he gets to come back and gain 200 attack for each banished dino. Now sitting at a nice sexy 3600, but that doesn't matter to us at all because I'm just going to distribute it. Now he gets this other card here, Ortex, which actually takes 5 of the banished dinos, brings them back into the main deck. And again, we distribute it, I banish this one. I know now not to banish the Giant Rex, and we're just gonna end our turn. Well, he's ending his turn, right? 18 cards left in the deck. I'm like, okay. Now Ballistic Squad is another card that I have in this deck. Tribute 1 monster and target 1 card in the field to destroy it. This was one of the cards that I utilized to, you know, tribute one of their cards and destroy another one of their cards. Similar to what people are doing right now with BDE. Very similar. I was able to utilize this card's effect. He actually has another one, which is funny. So he was really going to try to mill me. I think that was his strategy. This one actually, when I attack, I get to banish a card in the field. That's why I was able to banish the first Soul Levy. And now I have another way, putting this face down, I can pop this card. I do, unfortunately. Okay, I don't. I keep forgetting when I get a token when I don't. But now he busts this. He Regekis me off the top. So, of course, before the Regeki goes through, I'm going to banish more of his cards. I'm also going to use the Ballista to tribute that before it goes in the graveyard. Doesn't really matter. Paying off his Soul Levy, he's going to be naked. I'm technically naked, and he's also going to get a couple of tokens since I did use the Lair of Darkness here. Well, I did use tributing, so he'll get a couple tokens from my boy, from me. And then after this, I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty stale duel because it's pretty much me just going through the motions because I have to try to get past the tokens that I keep creating on his side of the field while banishing his entire graveyard pretty much over and over and over again. So that's pretty much the deck. So I'll see you guys. We'll go back and I'll explain some more cards, and that will be the end of it. Because yeah, look, he still has 8,000 life points. I haven't touched his life points. I've just been making his life miserable. Oh, this card's also great, by the way. Tribute 1 dark monster, draw 2 cards unless they negate it with a spell. Fantastic. So once again, this is the deck. Like I said, you have this Ballista. Like I was searching things that say tribute on it to find this was pretty good. Dark Spirit, Art of Greed. There are definitely other cards that are probably really good for tributing and then utilizing your opponent's monsters to tribute instead of yours. But the main super important thing here is to make sure that you have Lair of Darkness, and then definitely want to run Terraforming, definitely want to run Metaverse, and any card that allows you to get this card out, because once you get it out, your other cards should be able to utilize it as much as possible. And also Infernoid, I think if you have some of the other ones, like I said, the other dark monsters, you probably don't need to run Infernoids. It's just something that I was testing out as far as this last ability that they all have, distributing monsters for effects, and I really liked it and enjoyed it. You didn't get to see Dark Arm Dragon, but sometimes he does get out, and like I said, with this card you can get it if he gets milled by the Grass is Greener. And like I said, and I never use these, they're just kind of in the deck. I don't really know what to do with them. Sometimes if I can somewhat do it correctly, I'll use the Chaos, because he obviously mills even more cards. More cards milled into the graveyard allows you to use more Infernoid, yada yada yada. So if you guys enjoy the deck and you want to see more of it, just leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.